evening, everybody, friends, colleagues, members of the public. This is a regular meeting of the Board of Directors of the Mid-Peninsula Regional Open Space District. This meeting is now called to order. It is 7:00 p.m. May we please have a roll call?
Director Sear,
Present.
Director Hassett,
Here.
Director Holman,
Here.
Director Kirstine Tucker,
Here.
Director Kishimoto,
Here.
Director Riffle,
Here.
and Director Siemens. Thank you, and my apologies for the dog in the background.
All right, thank you, Jen. My name is Zoe Kirstine Tucker. I'm the president of the Board of Directors, and I'd like to review the district's teleconference meeting procedures this evening for our meeting before we get started with the content of the meeting. This meeting is being held in accordance with a recent amendment to the Brown Act through legislation known as AB 361. This allows a fully remote meeting during proclaimed emergencies. We're doing our best to conduct a meeting where everyone has an opportunity to listen to the meeting and provide comment. The meeting agenda explains how members of the public can provide comments at this meeting. The public may submit written comments and may provide public comments through the internet or via telephone. Members of the public who wish to comment during the meeting should submit the online public comment form available on the district's website. Let's start by briefly describing the process for today's meeting. Board members and district staff will be participating in the Zoom online meeting as panelists to have the ability to mute and unmute themselves and to interact among each other. Members of the public will join as attendees. They'll be able to hear and see all presentations, but won't be able to unmute themselves or share their screens. During the public comment period, the district clerk will call on members of the public individually who have submitted an online public comment form. Commenters will be allowed to unmute themselves to address the board for up to 3 minutes. At the end of 3 minutes, they'll be muted. Video of guests is turned off in Zoom. This helps the meeting run without interruption. Board members and staff, please keep your microphones muted unless you're speaking in order to minimize background noise. I'll be asking for board member questions and comments by calling on individual board members. This will help prevent us from talking over each other. I'd like to remind all staff to announce their names and titles when speaking to ensure that the board and public know who is speaking. Okay, thank you. We'll move now to oral communications on items not on the agenda. Are there comments from members of the public on matters within the jurisdiction of the district but that are not on the agenda tonight?
President Kirstine Tucker, yes, we did have one request to provide oral comments from Alex Hapke, and then I have several comments that I will read into the record as well.
All right, very good. And that will be 3 minutes, Alex.
Thank you. Alexander Hapke, President, Mid-Peninsula Rangers Peace Officers Association. In January 2021, 26 people formed an association of members called Mid-Peninsula Rangers Peace Officers Association to bargain for better benefits with their employer. The reason they created their new bargaining unit was because they would not be able to improve their benefits any other way. 7 of them spent their personal time every week for 3 months to prepare for their first labor contract. Negotiations continued for 10 months until they realized their employer was unwilling to even discuss their primary issue. That issue is contracting for a public safety retirement plan. Public safety retirement plans are for individuals who are involved in law enforcement, fire suppression, and the protection of public safety. Rangers have all of these responsibilities. Even though the association was willing to discuss compromise on Mid-Peninsula Regional Open Space District's big issue, the district rebuffed any attempt to discuss the association's biggest issue. The Mid-Peninsula Rangers POA has 2 goals: get Mid-Peninsula Regional Open Space District back to the bargaining table, and to negotiate for a public safety retirement plan in good faith. I remember Mary Davies saying the district has the world's greatest staff. Would you impose work rules on the world's greatest staff instead of negotiating with them? Thank you for your time.
Thank you. We also have several comments to be read into the record. The first is from Ryan Jordan in Half Moon Bay. It states, "My name is Ryan Jordan and I am writing today as a member of the Mid-Pen Ranger POA. Rangers have been trying to get safety benefits for decades, yet the district refuses to even have a conversation on the issue. As a taxpayer, voter, and employee of the district, I find this incredibly disheartening and out of touch. The district's stance of providing the same medical benefits to rangers as staff that can work from home shows the district must feel we face the same level of risk. Rangers are sworn peace officers, wildland firefighters, and emergency medical responders. Any single one of those roles qualifies us for safety benefits and exposes us to higher risk. Rangers worked the CZU fire. Rangers kept the preserves open and responded to medical emergencies during the COVID lockdowns. Rangers responded to an active vehicle rampage in Rancho San Antonio, where the suspect had already murdered one and was looking for more victims. It was a ranger who treated a visitor that had just been shot on Mount Umunum in an attempted carjacking. The list goes on. When was the last time staff faced these issues at the office or working from home? The board will often give lip service to how much they appreciate their rangers. Unless your words are that you are willing to negotiate for safety, then your words don't do a thing to protect rangers or their families. Rangers protect the public. We are imploring the board to help protect us. The next comment is from Ryan Augustine in Pescadero. It states, I am Ryan Augustine. I am a voter in Ward 6 and a Midpeninsula Rangers Peace Officers Association member. I am unable to speak in person as I am currently providing safety to the public. I am bringing to the board a common perception presented by district administration, including the general manager, that the inherent risks to rangers are similar to any staff member working in the field. Many district safety trainings direct staff to call a ranger when safety is a concern. Why are rangers subjected to the greater level of inherent risk? The answer is because they are trained for fire, hazardous material, emergency medical, and law enforcement responses. The chief's preface from the Ranger Operations Manual states as a core function of patrol to protect public health and safety through proactive patrol and presence, enforcement of MidPen's rules and regulations, fire protection, and emergency medical response. What does this look like in practice? In the last 3 years, I have located 2 suicidal subjects, one with a knife, one with a shotgun, fought the CZU fire, been threatened bodily harm with a blunt object, and held a motorcyclist from falling down a mountain. There isn't an all-encompassing list. This isn't an all-encompassing list and doesn't include my fellow rangers finding drugs, being first on scene of a vehicular homicide, or finding a gunshot victim and realizing the ranger drove past the shooter as the shooter was driving away, all on district lands. Please return to the table with a public safety option. The next comment is from Christopher Cow in East Palo Alto. It states, hi, I am a resident in East Palo Alto and I bike on the Ravenswood Preserve 5 days a week to commute to work. I ride a road bike with no electric power. I am in support of e-bikes on the trail as long as e-bikes go slower than 25 miles per hour. Our roads are limited to 25 miles per hour, and I don't think that bikes should go faster than the car speed limit. There are a lot of dogs, many without leashes, on the Ravenswood Preserve. I have actually been bitten by a dog once on the trail while biking, and I had slowed down to 10 miles per hour to pass, but that's a separate subject. My point is that I think e-bikes encourage people to bike. I've met some bikers on the trail who bike from Sunnyvale or Mountain View, and they wouldn't be biking this far if not for their e-bike. I do think bikers need to respect the trail and slow down when passing pedestrians. Bikers should not go over 25 miles per hour. Chris. The next comment is from Elizabeth Schwadell in Los Gatos. It states, I am a regular user of a couple of Midpen trails, as well as a neighbor to El Serena open space. I have been looking into other Midpen trails. Unfortunately, I don't have many satisfactory choices, given that I use a wheelchair. And she provides a link to the district's Easy Access Opportunities webpage. Rancho San Antonio has a wheelchair accessible trail, but it is so crowded there on the weekends that it feels more like a park than open space. Your website also talks about planned projects. The only project out of 25 that even mentions the disabled and seniors is the opening of Mount Umunum. That project makes no mention of open space trails that will be made usable by all. Here is my proposal. Given the popularity of the accessible Rancho San Antonio Trail, Midpen should direct much more of its attention toward making more trails like that. People like me, disabled but fit, as well as families with strollers or young children or fit elderly people who still want the safety of an even walking surface, are not well served by your trails. Midpen is funded through taxpayer money, and it must serve all taxpayers, not just the relatively small group of mountain bikers, trail runners, and strong, healthy hikers. Existing parks are no substitute. 1, the experience of being out in an open space is peaceful and cleansing. And 2, the trails need to be of sufficient length to allow one to get away and get some exercise, something most parks cannot provide. The next comment is from Nancy Cole in Los Gatos. It states, thank you for your motion to continue study in regard to the relocation of BCR Preserve proposed multi-use trail. To preserve public safety and serene user enjoyment, please designate a separate bike trail in proximity to Bear Creek Road. Default to single track where terrain is considered infeasible. Value safety and user experience over cost when the preserve opens to increase traffic. And those are all of the comments for oral communications.
All right, very good. Thank you, Jen.